What is going on, people? We've just finished watching Man United versus Tottenham Hotspur. Both of us. And as you'll see from last week's episode, we both went into the game pretty positive, even off the back of a pretty mediocre midweek both performance and result. Because we felt this season, obviously we have let's remove the Ineos for a moment. Let's look at just on the pitch. We felt this season that we were much more comfortable in possession, much less open at the back. And I even actually will refer to the Liverpool game where I thought for large parts of the first half, especially before the goal, we were pretty okay. Today was the complete opposite. Today we couldn't string 2-3 passes together. We looked absolutely clueless in terms of our pressing. Players did not know when to go, when to leave. Spurs looked like... I'll tell you what it looked like to me, and you can tell me whether you agree. What it looked like to me was, in pre-season, if you play a good team, let's say it's your first game of pre-season back and you've only the young lads, and this team is in the middle of their season, so they're fit, they're fighting, and they dominate. It looks like Spurs are in the middle of their season, and it was United's first game of pre-season with everyone back. And let's remember that this is the team we've all been wanting. This is Ten Hag's team. This is his goalkeeper. This is his back four. Okay, you could say Shaw coming back, but he's never coming back. He got his number 6. He has his Menu. Bruno's his captain. It was his front three, his brand, spanking out of the box new striker, and Garnacho and Rashford. And it was just shit. It was just so shit.
Really couldn't have said that better myself. That's as good a synopsis of that game and the situation as you're going to get. I don't know, I'm kind of stuck for words here because that was the polar opposite of everything I think we've seen this season in terms like stylistically and game plan and performance, where it literally looked like those players had never stepped foot on a pitch together before. They were clueless, a lot of them. No pass was sticking, no touch was sticking, no pattern of play was developing. It was just sheer, it was almost like panic for those first, I think I said to you 6 minutes in, I went, that's as bad as 6 minutes as you are ever going to see a football team produce. Because they did not string a single passage of play together in those 6 minutes. Spurs had gone one up.
Yeah. By
their centre back
running the whole pitch.
For the second game in a row, not even the second week in a row, for the second time in a week, a player picks up the ball in their own half, runs through our entire team, and lays it on a plate for a player score. Think of Twente. It happened against Twente as well.
Yeah.
And so far this season, I have said that we look a different team defensively. We look rigid. We look solid. It looks like there's structure there. And it's like that goal against Twente just opened up a whole lot of doubt and holes and made them very panicky. And Spurs today is unlike anything I've seen us produce so far this season. Maybe Liverpool. Probably Liverpool actually as well. But how open we were, how easy it was for them to play through us, how poor we were playing out from the back, how timid we looked, just reminded me a lot of last season.
I'm gonna just speak my mind a small bit, just will you allow me?
Yeah, okay.
Opening the game of the season, fair enough, shaky. Not quite fluid. It was the opening game. Last minute winner, Xerxes. Fine. Brighton, some decent spells, but Brighton really took over. And I always go back to, toward the end, both teams going at it. Manchester United is one of them, and Brighton were the one looking for the goal. And they got it. A good coach comes along with quality enough players as well to pounce and finds us out straight away. Arne Slot. He found us out. He explained it to the Sky Sports team after. He found out what way we play. He counteracted that with our fullbacks pushing high. That's why he kept his wingers up high, etc. Southampton, the worst team in the Premier League. It took them missing a penalty about 40 minutes in for us to cop on. We again couldn't string passes together for the first half hour, 40 minutes in that game. Palace, best we've played, controlled the whole game, couldn't finish, fine. Took Onana to keep them at bay too. 20, some again solid play, mistakes, a player running straight through our defence. One of the most experienced players in our squad coming out saying that he felt that the other team wanted it more. Today, played completely off the park by a competent manager, coming with good enough players that can spot a weakness. Multiple, it seemed, today. And outshone Ten Hag. And I really, really go back to, again, Ten Hag's in-game decisions. When Bruno got sent off, you could say it was over. Fair enough. Look, we were dreadful from minute one. But we finally got a small bit of momentum for a few minutes of that second half when it was 2-0. And Ten Hag made a decision. When Rashford was getting the ball and he was looking quality and Garnacho was really not, just at that point, he was having a very, very bad game. Worst I've seen Garnacho play. And he took Rashford off for Højlund. And I think it killed it again. It killed us again. I think that's again where the point stopped. I go back to Palace, which was only the previous Premier League game. But you have to admit, we were brilliant. Gets to that 60 minute, 70 minute, where the best managers make the slight changes and the team gets out of the rut or whatever goes on to win. He made the worst possible substitution you could make at that point. In my opinion, Xerxes was playing really well. Fair enough, he was missing a few chances, but I think we touched on it last week. Most of our most meaningful attacks came through him. I loved how he dropped. He was great. Not only did he take off Xerxes, which in a way, okay if he was going to do that, but he brought Rashford on, who, with his game, it is the least dropping deep, linking people up game I've ever seen. He is absolutely, if you were to tell me what is the player Rashford is not, he is not a dropping deep and bringing other players into the game. He is fast in behind player. That's it, with loads of space. And it does not take a genius to see at that point in the game, Palace were leaving us no space in behind. None. They were not high. They were not loading up high. They were a low block. I said to you today, when Højlund was coming on, was it Højlund coming on?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if this is obviously, Xerxes was, I think he was off at this stage for Casemiro.
You came off for half time, yeah.
I said, we knew it was going to be Garnacho or Rashford. I said, if this is Rashford, I am so done with Ten Hag. And I was like, I said it because I was so sure it wouldn't be. It was the contrast at that point in the game between both Garnacho and Rashford. It just wasn't Garnacho's day at all. And I thought, in fairness to Rashford, he really, when he would have been forgiven for once for not, he really was running. Even I remember him defensively, actually being the last man back at one stage, defending well. And he looked like the guy trying to unlock, because we didn't have Bruno, remember. He was the guy that has that pass in him, that pass in him, the pass. And he made Garnacho's chance hit the post as well. He was the guy creating anything. And he took Garnacho off, or he took Rashford off, sorry. And I'm really struggling. And the only reason I'm not coming on here and saying get him out is because there truthfully is probably nobody better right now. There truthfully is probably nobody better right now. Because Ineos are in this stage where they need to get their own shit in order in the back so that they're operating well. That's going to take time. Not long, but that's going to take a few months at least. Like, for example, with Dan Ashworth is only coming in January. Those types of things. I think Ten Hag is just going to be this stopgap of a manager. And the saddest thing about this is The whole team is built and designed for him. The whole team. We've done such a good job. When you think of what we were watching 2-3 years ago, Fred McTominay constantly, Maguire, Lindelof constantly. I've no hate on Maguire, by the way, but just Lindelof constantly having to play. I mean, when you go through it, who we watched, the Dan Jameses, the Andres Pereiras, these players, we've seen them, we've watched them, we've sat through these Rojos. I know that's ages ago, but we've sat through these periods. And I can safely say the 11 I saw lined up for United today, I was so happy with. And even now I sit here, you can have your opinions, you've only seen Ugarte a few times, you don't like what he looks like. That's fine. Young player coming from PSG, great. I like Mazraoui, awful day today. I really like Delite, really like Martinez. Dalot is coming on leaps and bounds. Onana looks brilliant all season. Love Manu, love Bruno, love Rashford, love Garnacho. I love a lot of the team. So I'm sat here thinking, for once, we're not watching dross of players. But, oh my God, this is the worst I've seen.
Ever.
Oh my God, today, up there. Today. Absolutely up there.
And you blame Ten Hag for that?
Who else? A good manager comes, finds us out again. It's a trend. It's a trend.
Ten Hag's not playing the ball out from the back. Ten Hag's not taking the ball on the turn. Ten Hag's not misplacing the passes. Ten Hag's not making the wrong decisions on the ball. You just said it yourself. He put out the team you wanted him to put out. He did that.
We're not playing the way we should be playing.
But we did last week. You've spent like
different opponent.
No, but you're no, to be fair, you're coming out with, and you've just broken down the entire season. And the negative Ten Hag energy is there. I know the negative Ten Hag energy for all those games are there. But we've gone on every episode, and you have said with me that we both agree that the signs are there, the progress is there, and it seems we're going in a direction, and we're satisfied, and we're happy, and we think it's going to click eventually. So like,
I just had a complete, what do you call it, reevaluation.
So you've sat down, you've watched players misplace passes, get the first touch all wrong, muck up transition moments,
not know when to press, not know when the press trigger is, not know where to be at times, not know how we're in a sticky situation. Look, how do we get out of this? Okay, it's not sticky. We're not going to go out every week and play this liquid football. So when we're clearly getting overridden by the opposition, their press is working, ours is not. Now what? We have fucking nothing to turn to. We have no out. We have all got to be playing 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 for this shit to work. It seems. Our strikers have got to be on it to finish, that's fine. They should be. Our midfielders have got to be putting in 8 out of 10, 3 of them every week, and so it's not going to happen. So what when our back line is not beating the press, or Manu's having an off day, or Martinez is having an off day, what do we do then? Because Liverpool, the way they play, they're not going to play white every week. City don't. Some of them players have bad days. They have an out. They make a good in-game call. Okay, this guy, let's switch it. There's none of that. There's no reaction. It seems sit and hope they figure it out. That's what it seems from me. I'm doing the same at home on my couch. I'm sitting 20, 25, 30 minutes into the game, very lucky to be 1-0 down. I'm hoping that we figure it out. Not noticing us doing anything different to figure it out. Just hoping all of our players elevate their game to a very high standard. There's no outball to protect us against that sort of a game. Where Spurs came today, were more on it than us. It could have any excuse. It could be Europe during the week. There's many excuses. United are in a lot of competitions.
Spurs had 1 day less rest than us.
Exactly, but you could be up against a team that hadn't. So they're fresh. They could be fresher than us. This could happen any day. We have no out. We're trapped. There's no other idea. There's no other plan. Which is astonishing to me because this is a brand new plan to last season, which thank God it is, let's be real. Because last season's plan didn't go too fucking well. Again, last season was only one plan for every team in the league.
The plan reflects Ten Hag's stubbornness, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I agree.
He's got his way of playing, and it's his way or the highway, and
This season, it's a completely different way of playing than last season.
It's still that way from minute 1 to 90. There's no switching.
I agree. This is a problem.
That's what I mean. I think the plans it just reflects Ten Hag's stubbornness. I think he develops a plan because he always talks about a plan. He's pretty obsessed with the plan.
Philosophy, plan, everything.
It seems to me he studies the team throughout the week, develops his plan, and portrays his plan to the team, and that is the plan. And it's not going to change because nothing changes mid-game. And when he does decide to make a call in-game...
Can I ask you an honest question?
Yeah.
Can I ask you an honest question? You talk about you think he looks at his opponent each week and plans. Do you think there's any difference week to week, opponent to opponent, to how we play if we play the same personnel?
What do you mean by that?
So, for example, for me, in my opinion, Ten Hag plays, which is difficult to equate because we don't play the exact same team every week. But to me, Ten Hag plays the same way for every single opponent, unless there's a player change. So, for example, if it's Eriksen instead of Casemiro, that will deduct in quite a huge change in how the ball progresses through the midfield. But if it's Casemiro this week and Casemiro next week, where the ball needs to progress through midfield differently, it doesn't. To break down a different type of midfield. He counteracts teams with personnel, not tactics.
No, I agree with that. That's what I was going to say. I said, you can actually understand his plan based on his team selection.
Yeah.
So like say for Crystal Palace, Rashford was left out, but Garnacho and Ahmad played. And the first thing I said to you was, it's because he wants them to track the wing-backs.
Yeah.
Whereas today, Rashford and Garnacho play on the wings because he wants to get in behind.
I agree. But the issue is he makes poor personnel substitutions.
He does. He has. He has done this season. He has done.
And I actually have a theory that when he moved to United he first signed, he wanted to play exactly how he's trying to play right now. I think that's what he wanted.
Yeah, that's why he tried to sign Frankie de Jong.
Exactly. And he's been trying that, and he did try that his first season to reasonable success, in my opinion. No. I know he changed. But when he tried that early in his first season, De Jong was not who he did not get De Jong. He looked at his summer window, end of August, mid-September. He looked at the players and he said, impossible.
Yeah.
So he went fully transition. Casemiro sat there in an absolutely incredible season. Rashford was hitting on fire. Again, personal brilliance. These two players had incredible team of the year seasons, both a minute. And we were a fantastic transition team because he broke it up and he scored the goals. Let's come back. Last season, tried it again. What happened? Casemiro had a dud season. Rashford had a dud season. Lowest position United have ever been in the Premier League. Okay. New ownership is in. New transfer targets. We're going to go back to the way I actually really want to play because I think it's feasible now with the new structure. Let's actually build this. He gets given the go-ahead after his well-earned performance against Man City, won the FA Cup, great. He says, I'm going back to this. Has his players, has his personnel he thinks can play this way. Obviously not fully finished, but he got his two strikers in 2 years. They're not out now goal scorers. You can see what he wants to do. And while definitely the signs that were much more possession based than last year were blunt up front because he needs those, which every team does. They need their strikers to have brilliance. I think it's been messy tactically from him. Would you agree with my assessment of the 3 years?
Yeah. And look, I'm not exactly Ten Hag in, and I'm not Ten Hag out. I'm very much in the middle. Ten Hag can't put the ball in the net. First few games of the season, he's coaching multiple goal wins. He should be. He can't put the ball in the net. That's on the forwards, and that's on Bruno. All those chances missed. Those are all patterns of play that have been developed since the beginning of the season, and possession being sustained and sustained attacks and patient build-up. Everything you've been wanting a Ten Hag team to produce for the last 3 years. And for the start of the season, he's actually done it.
I think for a few games he's done it. I don't believe he played that way against Fulham. You can tell me different if you want to tell me different. Might have been signs.
Bruno could have had 2 in that game, and Mount could have had 1.
Brighton.
That was on him. Brighton's on him because he took off Bruno from McTominay. But if Xerxes not falling into the goalpost and hits off him, it's a win.
Yeah.
He can't put the fucking ball in the net.
Yeah.
Garnacho has to put the ball in the net there. And we did say we didn't want to blame anyone there. Garnacho fucking put it in the goal. Don't hit Xerxes like. Crystal Palace. He can't put the ball in the net.
But he can make a better call and bring in fucking Rashford on.
Absolutely. And I will agree with that.
That's dreadful.
I will agree the in-game decisions are spooky.
They're
very.
So spooky.
But the only thing I will cut him slack for is they're actually creating chances now. But he can't. Ten Hag's not up front. Ten Hag's not on the wing.
Yeah.
Ten Hag's not in the 10.
What did you think of today? Where did that come from?
Today, I don't know.
Where did that come from?
It is the most like last season I have seen. And I do think that is on him. I think today is on him. Because he abandoned the slow, patient build-up for a more transition-based approach. It's clear that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to bypass the press quick by winning the ball back. That's why he sat back. He wanted to win the ball back in midfield or in the final third. Play it through to Bruno. Fast. Bruno gets the ball out to the wings. Fast. Yeah. And the ball is either finished by the wingers or it's into Xerxes. You could see Xerxes' position was even higher today. Yeah. Because that was the plan. It was a transition-based approach, which I thought we had left in 2023, 2024. But again, if me and you sat here last week, and what did we say we had to do to beat Spurs? Pepper the ball in behind their high line. But we should have went and played the same as Palace. We should have took the game to Spurs. We should have said, no, sorry. We're going to control the ball today. Home. We're going to dictate the tempo. We're at home. And we're going to sustain possession. But we didn't.
The way we pressed annoyed me today. Because I feel like you could see very clearly in the first 5 minutes there was the bank of 4. But normally they're one of them is gunning for someone. And then they panic, pass, and they try and... We did not actually gun for any of the back foot. We allowed them with the ball.
Our press has been the best part of our game this season. We've won the ball high up in the pitch so often, and I don't understand why we abandoned that today.
And I know this sounds like I'm contradicting myself. Me saying I'd love if Ten Hag more shaped his game around who we wanted to play, and he did just that today. But I just think he got it really wrong. What I mean by that is, yes, there's space in behind. So you have Rashford, you have Garnacho, Pepper. You just develop a better style of how to get the ball in behind to them. I don't think he should have stopped our best part of our game in our pressing. I don't. And I think at the 10-minute mark, where we're clearly not at it yet, and we're really struggling to pass their first line of press, switch it. Stop doing that right now. Give Onana and our whole defence some respite for a sec. Just stop. I feel like there's a period there of the first half hour where our entire midfield didn't get the ball. Bruno a few times giving it away. But like Menu, for example, wasn't in the game. That's another problem.
No one could pick a pass.
No one could. Exactly. So stop. Right now, your players need an out. They need a plan B. Stop trying this right now. Spurs got your number. Hold your hands up right now. We can still switch this. It's only 1-0. We can still switch this. Spurs are fickle. Just there's stubbornness to his management. There's idiocy to his substitutions. And there's a timer on his head. I really do. I think so. That's what I think. And this week is not getting any easier.
No.
We have Porto away and we go to Villa Park on on Sunday. I mean,
I'm yet to see post Fergie. I'm yet to see a manager escape the rut when he gets into it. You could argue Ten Hag. You can argue Ten Hag has.
He did it last year. My God, Jesus.
But
I have.
I think when the rut comes in your third season, you end up backed in a corner, and it's very hard to fight your way out of it.
Yeah.
I think if you're in your third season in a rut, the players start to.
Yeah, and this could be just a thing of Ange kept consistent with how he played, which I admire. But his players today, in his second season, he's only had one season, in his second season, knew exactly what they're doing. And it was so evident that ours didn't.
Do you not think, though, it's difficult for players in their third season to have a third different style of play?
Yeah, I do.
Like, I think there is.
I do.
I think there is.
Like you would think we had 3 different managers.
You would the style of play. You would.
That's a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not looking good. I don't feel very good right now.
No, I don't either. I feel terrible, actually.
We're toast.
I don't have a lot of optimism anymore. And you compare how I was feeling.
I know.
Before that Community Shield, even after the Community Shield,
after Community Shield, after Fulham.
Do you know what? How I felt after Palace.
Yeah.
I felt really optimistic still. I felt like this is going to click eventually. And you know, it very well could. But I just think there's
I'm not hanging my hat anymore.
I just think there's some really tough games coming up, especially away. And I just think,
like I think
he could be fucked.
In our season preview that we did on this show for this season, there was only one thing I asked for and one thing I really hoped from this season. I actually didn't give a position. I did in my prediction, but I didn't give for my hopes for this season. I didn't give a position. I didn't give a challenge. I didn't give any of this bullshit top 4. I said, I hope when it gets to February or March that we're not just completely out of it. And I'm almost sat here in September feeling like we're completely out of it. I know we're not. It's so early. I know we're not. But the feeling I have now, we just went up against Spurs there today. Both of us on the same points. Both of us on the same points. Spurs gutted with how they started the season. Absolutely gutted. Ange in his pre-match conference, he's so gutted by the points he has. We're on the same. And they have walked us off our own patch today. And let's not talk about Liverpool top, City, Arsenal tied, Chelsea in 4th, Spurs now up there. They're running away from us. They are running away from us.
And it's a season where teams seem to be taking points off each other a lot. Yeah. So if we had any sort of consistency to us, we could be in and amongst it. We should be in and amongst it.
At least up there.
Well, I see the way Chelsea are right now, and I'm thinking, why can't we be like Chelsea are? But it's just, we've lacked consistency since Ten Hag's taken over. So really, none of this should be a shock.
I know.
When you look at it. It's just a shame, I think, more than anything.
It's such a shame.
It's disappointing. I don't know where we go from here. He needs to get through this week unscathed, and I'm not sure he's going to. I think Porto Thursday is so tough.
Well, he needs to go to Portugal. He needs to get 3 points. And Jamie, he needs to go to Villa, and he needs to get 3 points.
Villa look really good.
They look really
actually,
good.
do you know what? Ipswich should have got something out. Should have got more out of it today.
Yeah, but that's what I mean by teams are taking points off people.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to say as well. Is that this league is very competitive and
we're not competing.
No, you said it.
Guys, enjoy Porto, enjoy Villa, and we're going to take another half hour to reassess. Same time next week. See you Monday.